Today I'm going to continue building my AI design app for the Bolt Hackathon that ends on June the 30th. I'm going to take you through how I'm setting up my AI automation for this app, how I prompted Bolt to create my onboarding flow, and also my new distribution plan to try and get attention to this product and build up a waitlist on social. So if you continue watching, you're going to be able to learn how to do all of that for your own app. And if you don't know me, my name is Chris, and for the last 15 years I've been designing apps and advising startups on product and design, and I believe the next wave of incredible businesses is going to be built using these AI tools. And so with that said, let's get into part 2 of my Bolt Hackathon build and start to build some of these AI features.
Build great products. Build great products.
Okay, so here is my updated project for the Bolt Hackathon, and I want to take you through the updates to this project that I've made so far, and then we're going to create some AI automation that we're going to add into this project after I've gone through everything that I've updated here. So to start off with, off the back of the last video, and if you haven't seen part 1, you can find the link to that video in the description below, so just go back and watch part 1 if you haven't already. That's where I validate the idea and I kind of map out the user journey and start thinking about how I'm going to build this product and distribute it. And I've got a few other ideas that I want to talk about here as well. So the first thing I did after the last video was to set up my waitlist landing page, basically. And you might think, well, this is a little bit too soon because you haven't even built a product or anything yet. But I think if you have the value proposition down, if you have the idea of what you want to create, there is really no harm, and I would actually recommend trying to build up some interest and attention around what you're building as you're building it. And the best way to do that, I've found, is through a waitlist landing page. Now this is just a really simple landing page that I've created in Bolt here as a separate project. So I'm doing everything in Bolt because of the Bolt Hackathon. You could do this in another tool like Webflow or Framer, but this is set up really easily. So you can see on the right hand side that it's essentially it's the background image that we created using the prompt that was generated from the prompt that we're going to use for this tool to help designers generate better AI visuals from any source of inspiration. And it's really just a really simple and direct value proposition here with an email input field and then a join the waitlist button. And that is all it is. It was very quick to set up on Bolt. I did it in about 10-15 minutes and then tweaked some of the design for stuff here. And the value proposition is the easiest way to go from inspiration to generation. I'm not sure that makes much sense now that I've come back and looked at this. I think it's the easiest way to go from inspiration to image generation, as in like AI image generation. I liked the way that the words rhymed, but it maybe doesn't make much sense. Create incredible AI imagery from any source of inspiration. I think we could just have that tagline and have it a little bit bigger here, to be honest, and that might actually work a little bit better. So I'll change that later. I did create a couple of posts for social and posted back to Bolt on one of their hackathon kind of check-in posts that they did. It got a little bit of traction, but really nothing much, and I got a couple of waitlist signups from that. I haven't really found the right kind of type of content to build up attention around this idea yet. And so just to finish off this waitlist landing page and how I set it up. So basically the website is set up in Bolt. That is connected to an automation in make.com. So this essentially is a webhook. This form submits to, sends that information, the email address, to the webhook. And then the webhook takes that email that was submitted and adds it to a Google Sheet. And so your waitlist is essentially just a Google Sheet of all of the email addresses that you're collecting for this. It's 2 nodes. It's really quick to set up. You don't really have to do anything here other than add these 2 nodes, connect your Google account and set it up with a new sheet, and then go back and tell Bolt to send the information to this webhook URL. That's all you have to do. And then that was deployed here, so you can see the live version of the website here. And I've just added in here this image prompt generated with refs.design. So you can see that this tool has generated the prompt for this image in the background here. And because it's all about AI image generation, I really wanted to go really big and visual with this image. And so that aligns with the value proposition for this tool. This is all deployed on Netlify via GitHub. So this project in Bolt is synced to GitHub. So if you create an account on GitHub, connect your GitHub account to your Bolt account, and then basically use GitHub and Netlify to deploy that to a live domain, and you can buy domains through Netlify. I would definitely recommend to use this as kind of like a very simple way to get something live and on a domain. Other thing that I wanted to talk about here was distribution. So how do we build attention for this app? And so the way that I'm going to start doing this is I've created this Instagram account called refs.design.ai, which I'm using to basically kind of lurk a little bit at the moment and save posts and follow people just to kind of warm up the account. And if you've seen Greg Eisenberg's latest video with Jack Fricks, that you'll know that this is what you're supposed to do before you start posting on social, before you start testing organic content to try and get attention for whatever you're building. So I'm following the same playbook there of basically warming up this Instagram account. After maybe 4 or 5 days, what I'll start doing is I'll start to post this kind of AI art content. And what I've seen just through like browsing is that a lot of this kind of like attention grabbing AI art type of content gets a lot of likes and a lot of shares and a lot of comments. And so what I want to do here is to try and create an AI art account that is very focused on like that ties in with the brand identity of refs. So we go to refs.design here, of this kind of Renaissance painting kind of style AI art generation. I do need to change the name of this deployed website actually at the top here as well. That's something that I've missed. And so I'm going to just try creating like all of these different AI art visuals that are created with prompts that have been generated using the tool that I'm building to try and get a bit of attention to the app. I'm going to test a couple of different things here, maybe like a comment prompt to get the prompt for this image, and then use ManyChat to actually push people to sign up for the app, or like some other way of getting people to take action from this content to go and download the app. Because if we don't have a call to action in this content, it's just nice imagery for people to look at, and they're not actually going to go and try the app out for themselves. Okay, so let's actually dive into showing you what I've built for my app here. Quick break in the episode to talk about my community for people who are building apps with AI and actually want to make a profit. It's called the AI App Builders Academy. So if you're building an app using Bolt or Lovable or Cursor or any other AI tool and you actually want to make a profit, then this is the community for you. Inside, you'll get access to a community of other builders, weekly Q&As and demo days, and my full Product to Profit course covering everything you need to know to validate your idea, build your app, and then grow it from your first customers and beyond. You'll also get access to all of my startup frameworks from my 15 years experience of designing apps and advising startups on product and design. So if you're building an app with AI and you actually want to make a profit from it, head over to school.com/AI apps and join the community. I'll see you there. So this is the app projects that I have on Bolt. On the last video that I went through, we built the dashboard page from a Figma design. And what I've added here since doing this is essentially the onboarding flow, the sign up and onboarding flow for this app that leads you into your dashboard, and added some other bits and pieces as well, like project creation, copying images to clipboard, all of that stuff. So I'm going to go through here and show you how this works. So I've connected this to Supabase as well. So you can see in the top right here, it's got this little Supabase icon. So that means it's connected. So we're all good in Supabase, and this is creating database tables and connections as we're building the app, because we want to be able to store all of the images uploaded from users. We want to be able to store them against their account in Supabase and any other information that they create when they're using this tool. So let's go sign up here. Let's click Create account. So now that we've created account, we are being asked to create our first project in refs.design. So we're going to give this project a name and then create project and continue. So let's create like a brand identity project here. So let's just type in here brand identity to name this project and then create project and continue. Some of this stuff has been added by Bolt as well. So I didn't tell it to do the progress indicator underneath the bottom here. I did the flow in one prompt, and then I did the updates to each of the steps as I needed to in separate prompts here. And so I like to break down when I'm building tools like this into individual flows or functionality or features. So make the feature or the flow that you're building really concise, and then get Bolt or whatever tool you're doing to just focus on building that flow and connecting it all together, and then go in and tweak the details after. And because we got the UI kind of all defined in that first page that we created, we didn't really have to prompt it too much on the style or the direction that I wanted to use here. So I'll create my first project. You can then upload your inspiration images, so add images that inspire your project. You can upload multiple images at once. So let's add some images in here. And so I'm going to add this image that I found on Instagram whilst looking at AI art the other day, just into this project. And it shows you the uploaded images underneath here, and then you can remove them as well. I'm just going to go continue with one image. And then the next step here, which is not connected up yet, which we're going to connect in this video, is the AI automation piece. So there's a few parts to the AI automation here. So now I've uploaded my images for this project. What I want to do is I want to generate a style prompt for all of the images together. So what we're going to do here, my idea is that with these uploaded images, we're going to pass the image URL, all of the image URLs to a webhook, and then send that into ChatGPT and get it to analyze those images and then generate a style prompt for all of those images as like a project prompt that you could use to create any other imagery that might fit in with the style of that project. And then once you're into your dashboard, allow the user to refine that style prompt for their project as well. And I'm gonna go to my project now. We've uploaded these images. We've got our style prompt for our project. Let's go to the project. So this is the dashboard page that I created last time with a few other additions here. So this is my dashboard in refs.design. So this is static text at the moment, which I'm going to make dynamic and base these kind of pulled out words here on the type of projects that you're building and the type of images that you're uploading. So this will be like a really personal kind of summary of like your own work in the platform. We've got your brand identity style prompt, which is the style prompt that we generated in the onboarding flow for this project. Now I want to move this underneath these tabs for the projects as well, so this is more clearly like attached to this project. You have then controls for your project here, for your projects, and you have a search on the right as well. For this style prompt, for any style prompts or images, I wanted to add in a way of copying that really quickly to the clipboard. So we've got all of these copy to clipboard icons here. You can copy that style prompt to the clipboard. So my intention with this tool is to be really tool agnostic for designers. And what I mean by that is I want designers to be able to take these prompts and put them into any type of image generation tool that they want to use. So they can use it in ChatGPT Image or Midjourney or whatever they're using, or even in video generating tools as well, like Kling or Runway or whatever tool you're using. So I don't want to connect to any of those image generation models in the platform, because I want that to leave that decision to the user. This is really about just helping users organize all of their visual inspiration, generate style prompts from them, and then use those style prompts to create new imagery in whatever their tool they're using, and to kind of generate style prompts from any source of inspiration as well. So I can upload like a photo that I took on my camera roll to this tool, and it will generate a style prompt to help me recreate that image in an AI image generator. And so to go through the rest of the functionality here, so you can see in this brand identity project, you can rename the project. And so when I asked it to create this modal, I asked it to do the background with this blur effect and slightly darker. All of the UI is following the same UI style from when we first created that dashboard page. It can be a really good strategy to start with from like one page or one screen and really get the UI, the visual like style for your app right, and then start to flesh out the functionality from there. We've got a search here, so if I search, let's see what this image is called. Let's give this image a name. So let's call it Horsey. These icons aren't working particularly great at the moment, so you can zoom into images here. You can rename the images. It tells you the original file name as well. And I don't know what this text is here. Click the buttons below to interact with this image. Okay, I think we can remove that text. And you've got style prompt and copy to clipboard buttons here as well. So if I click copy, okay, we've got an issue come up already. So failed to copy image to clipboard. I'm just going to click attempt to fix that. So you can copy the image to the clipboard, and the reason I want to allow you to copy the image to the clipboard really quickly is so that you can jump over to like a Midjourney and then paste it into Midjourney as a style reference, so that you can use any image from your project as a style reference to generate new imagery. And then you've got this style prompt button here, which would generate a prompt to recreate this specific image exactly. You've also got an add more images block here, which allows you to add more images to the project. But I've also added in functionality here of being able to paste images directly from your clipboard into your project. So I'm going to show you how this works. So say, for example, this one, for example, copy that to clipboard, and then we'll come back to refs. And once Bolt has finished working, I'll show you how this paste directly into refs functionality works. And what I did to be able to get that was I actually turned on the chat mode in Bolt and then asked Bolt, is it possible to build this functionality and how would you build it? And Bolt gave me a plan of how to build that functionality, and then it asked if I wanted to execute that plan. So I think one takeaway from building this is to, if you're not sure about something, turn on the chat mode and ask whatever tool you're using, how can I do this, and what steps would you take to actually build this? And then what it will give the AI is it will give it context of the exact steps that it needs to do to actually build that functionality, which will mean that your output is going to be better. And it's also going to give you visibility of how it's going to build that functionality as well, what is happening a bit behind the scenes, and so that you can be clear about how your app is working and also feel more comfortable that it's building the right functionality for what you want. Okay, so the copy to clipboard functionality is fixed. So let's come in here, copy that image to clipboard, and then just go over to Midjourney, and I'll show you pasting this image into Midjourney, and it's pasted it here from our refs dashboard. So it's a really easy way of just copying any imagery from your project into an AI image generation tool, so that you can then start to create new imagery from that. And this is where refs.design should be your source of truth for any sort of visual work that you're any sort of AI visual work that you're doing in your project. You can also add in a project here as well. So if I create a new project, that will take me through that same flow as you have in the onboarding process as well. So that should feel really, really familiar to users. And so let's just do that copy paste functionality into refs as well. So if I generate something in Midjourney, if I then use this image to generate something else in Midjourney, and I come over to something that I've generated, say it's this one, we'll then be able to go to that image, copy that image, and then I'm going to paste it back into my project in refs. And so you can see that's pasted it there, that is uploading. and that image is now in my project. So that just makes it really, really easy to go back and forth between these image generation tools to actually collect all of the imagery that you need for your project in this one place. And then you can come back into here, you can generate a style prompt from it to create more imagery like that. You can update your project style prompt, and it will kind of give you this organic kind of development of your AI visuals created from all of these different sources of inspiration in your project in Refs. And so what I want to do now is I want to actually create the AI functionality here. I want to build, and so we're going to do that on this video. And what I want to do is I want to be able to generate a style prompt for an image that I've uploaded. And how I'm going to do that, the flow for that is going to be, if I click style prompt in Refs, that's going to then send this image URL to a webhook. And then that webhook, so let's build this as we go. So I've just created a new scenario in make.com here called Refs prompt generator. So we're going to do a custom webhook here, and we are going to add a new webhook, and it's going to be called image prompt generator. So I'm going to create two projects. So this is going to be the Refs image prompt generator, and I'm going to create another one later, which is going to be the Refs project prompt generator, which is going to generate your prompt for your entire project. So we're going to copy that address to the clipboard, and we can put that into Bolt to send that information to that webhook. What we then want to do is I then want to send that to ChatGPT. So we are going to add a OpenAI module here. This is connected to my OpenAI account via API. So if you go into OpenAI account, you can find your API in the documentation there. You just log into OpenAI instead of ChatGPT. What we're going to do here is I'm just going to use 4.0 to start off with, just to generate this. I think that's probably going to give us the best results for the cheapest price as well, because that's kind of an everyday model. What you don't want to do when you're building these automations is use a really, really good AI model that people are going to use over and over and over again, unless you're charging the right amount of money for it, because it's going to be really, really expensive to run that tool. And so I want to keep my costs to a minimum. And so I'm going to choose like a general purpose everyday model, because I think I can create an instruction here that's actually going to give it. And one really good tip, which I've taken from a Y Combinator video talking about how startups are currently building really, really powerful system prompts and really, really efficient apps from a cost point of view, is that they're using really high quality models like Opus 4 to generate these really detailed system prompts. And then the system prompts are telling the general purpose, everyday, cheaper models what exactly they want to do. And so we can actually generate a really good prompt using one of those more expensive models just as a one-off thing, and then send all of these requests through to 4.0 to actually get the style prompt back. And so what I'm going to do here is I'm going to connect this up to Bolt, and then I'm going to click the button in Bolt so that it comes through to this webhook, and we see the data here, so we can start putting in the right information. I've now just copied that webhook address from Make back over into Bolt, and I've said when I click the style prompt button on any image that I've uploaded, either on the image or in the modal, I want you to send that image URL to this webhook address. And so that is now implementing that webhook functionality in Bolt. So hopefully, like whenever I click this button, it's going to send that through to this automation in Make. It's going to be collecting the data immediately. And I'm going to then, hopefully when we click style prompt in Bolt, it's going to come up with like a 1 here to show that data has been received by this webhook. And then we're going to be able to create this prompt in the OpenAI module here. And then what we're going to do after that is we're going to then send the message, the prompt that OpenAI generates, back to the webhook, and then Bolt is going to display the response on the front end in our app. So a very, very simple automation, and we should be able to set that up pretty straightforwardly. So let's wait for Bolt to finish setting up this webhook, and then we can test this to see if it works. So I clicked style prompt in here. Bolt finished setting this up. I clicked style prompt in here. It gave me a little toast notification, and then coming back into make, you can see it's got 1 here and 1. So something has been sent through to this webhook. If we have a look, you can see, look, that's the URL for that image. That's perfect. So, and it sent a few other pieces of information here as well. I'm actually going to remove like a lot of this information, extra information that's been sent through, just so that the webhook is receiving the URL for that image. And then what we're going to do here is we're going to set up in this OpenAI node, we're basically going to take my creative director prompt that I use to generate image prompts, specifically for Midjourney. So we'll just start off with Midjourney. And then I want to create a prompt in here that is going to use this variable that's been sent from the webhook, the image URL here, and then generate a prompt from it. And so let's see if we can get this to work. So what I've added in here as my prompt for this in this OpenAI module is my creative director prompt here, which is basically you're a highly skilled and experienced creative director with unmatched flair and passion for creating stunning and inspiring imagery and visual creative. You're also a master AI image prompt engineer, able to craft the best image prompts for AI image generation tools like Midjourney, ChatGPT Image and Flux. And then what I've added into my prompt here is because it was brought to my attention in the last video that the prompt that came out of my creative director actually was using an old version of Midjourney. So I want to make sure to prompt this to always use the latest version of the tools available, and actually specify that that's V7 for Midjourney because that's just come out. And then the last bit here is create a prompt, create a detailed prompt to recreate this image exactly in Midjourney, and then I've added in the image URL here as well. So that, hopefully, that's going to send that image to, so we're going to add in like this image URL field, I think here we're going to do as well, just to make sure that it's definitely got it. So this should, if we save that, that should then create that response. We're going to send a webhook. We're going to add in a webhook response here, and in the body of the webhook response, we're going to add in the result, the raw result that came back from OpenAI for that prompt. And then what we're going to do is go back to Bolt, and we're going to get it to get the webhook response and then display that in the front end in the image modal when you click style prompt. So let's go back to Bolt, tell it to do that, and then see if it works. All right, so I have connected I've connected Bolt up to the webhook response. So hopefully, if I click this style prompt button, it's going to send that to this webhook, put it through my prompt in OpenAI, and then it's going to collect the webhook response here and then display that on the front end as the style prompt for this image. We're then going to take that style prompt, put it into Midjourney, and see if it recreates this image at all close in any way. So let's see. Okay, something went wrong. So we've just got accepted here. I'm not sure. We can copy that to clipboard, which is great, and the actual way that this is displaying is good, but why does that say accepted? So let's go back to, so that actually didn't send anything to the webhook. So I've just put in, when I click the style prompt button from an image or the image modal, it isn't sending the image URL to the webhook. It needs to send the image URL to the webhook and then get the response and display the response on the front end in the style prompt response section, which you just created, which is here. So the webhook request is being sent, but there are a few problems with how the response is being handled. Let me fix the webhook integration to properly send the image URL and display the response. So that might not 100% be the thing that's broken here. All right, so let's try this again. Bolt says it has fixed it. What we want to do is we're going to go to this image because maybe it was like messing up because I did it on the same image. So let's click style prompt here, generating, it said accepted. It's not come through to make. We need to get this So there we go. Okay, so that seems like better. It would take a little bit of time. It wouldn't be as instant as it was before. So let's try and get Bolt to like fix why we want to get the information sending back to this webhook to start off with. Okay, so as I was trying to fix it, this style prompt came back for this image. So to create this stunning image in Midjourney, we need to craft a detailed prompt that captures the elements that make it unique. The goal is to translate, and then it's got like, here is your image, it's got image prompt. So what we need to do in Make is we need to tell OpenAI to only return the exact image prompt. Don't return any other text. So you can see here, this is using V7 because we told it to use V7, and then then it gives us some extra text at the end here as well. What we want to do is we just want to have like this prompt. So it's actually from the image URL, it's reading that image properly, and then it's creating this prompt for it. So if you go over to Midjourney, let's remove that style reference, and I'm going to keep that image open, and then I'm just going to open a new tab here, and we're going to paste this prompt in, and then let's see what it comes back with. It's looking pretty good. Let's wait until it's finished. It's not 100%. It's like they're a little bit darker. This is a little bit brighter. So it's not 100%, but it is pretty close. The thing is, like with these prompts, actually the creative director prompt might make something better. If we're using an image as an inspiration, and then we put it into the creative director, who is a master prompt engineer for Midjourney, he might actually make some images with a slightly different style. We've asked it to recreate the style exactly. It's not 100% done that. We're getting pretty close. I might want to amend the prompt here so that we can create something that's a little bit closer. So we're not 100% there with the prompt. We've built the functionality. Okay, we've just about built the functionality. So let's go back to Make, because I want to amend this prompt in here just to change this prompt so that it is create a detailed prompt to recreate this image exactly in Midjourney. Only give me the exact prompt with no other text. Give me the exact prompt with no other text. So let's do it from this one. So we are showing that all the style prompt is the same for every single image. So we want to fix that in Bolt. So let's fix that as well. If I click this as well, so that's going to be generating. It's got generating here. I would love to add in like a rough time estimate here of how long it's going to take to generate. Just so users know exactly how long this is going to take. What I want to see here is, does this update this prompt? And is it just attached to this image, or is it attached to multiple images here? Here we go. So we have a new prompt. A mystical scene with a lone silhouette of a person. It's still giving me this extra text, which I really don't want. So I want to say like in here, so we can go in and see like, this is working. I'm going to go in here and say like, give me the exact prompt with no text. Remove any text that is not the prompt from your response. Be really explicit about that. Let's save the changes to that. And then we're going to run that again and see. Nearly there. It's nearly there. Look, we've got, it's like got Midjourney V7. It's not like the exact right format here. It's got this /imagine prompt in there at the beginning, but it's not quite right. So we need to refine this prompt basically in Make to actually give us the right style prompt back here that we can put into Midjourney. If I copy this over and put it into Midjourney, we can try and see what this would create, but my sense is that it's not going to be as good because it's just got Midjourney V7. It should actually put it in this format of like the right settings for Midjourney. I think we actually missed the settings for Midjourney off of this prompt. Pretty close, but it's not going to be as good as it could be because it's missing off some of those settings for Midjourney. So I think the use case here would be like, I want to create a different image, but in this exact style. So we maybe need to prompt AI OpenAI here to give us a style prompt that we can use alongside a subject matter to create other imagery, but the functionality is working. So I don't know where the style prompt has gone. Also, if I click style prompt there, it doesn't do anything. That's generating. The style prompt seems to have disappeared, which is interesting. So I'm not sure why. We've got this message here, style prompt generated successfully, but nothing is showing yet. And then you've got the style prompt here. That's doing it with the right Midjourney things at the end. So it is doing it mostly, but we still want to like remove this /imagine prompt bit. So we're getting there. The functionality is built. It's working. So I'm going to finish up this video here. Hopefully you can see the progress that I've made building this app, going through the onboarding flow, creating your projects, adding in imagery here, generating style prompts from these images, being able to copy these images to the clipboard, put them into your image generation tools, getting the project style prompt and creating new projects here, and being able to search all of your references. I am going to create some social. I've created a social account. I'm going to post some imagery on there to see if I can get some attention to this product. Continue refining this prompt, this prompt that is getting a style prompt back to recreate this imagery, and then start actually testing using it on a project to see how this works and adding in some other functionality around this. One other thing that I want to try doing here as well is to add in like a prompt generator for this to help you generate better style prompts for images that you're creating. So you would kind of do it, and the inspiration from that is taken from Aura by Meng To and his team at Design Code, where basically you can select these different themes or different visual styles, and then add in a subject matter, and then have the style prompt generated for that, for Midjourney or for other image generation tools. And so I'm going to add those, and then we'll come back next week and have a look at if I've managed to get anything going on social, how many people we've got on the wait list, and how I've built out the rest of the functionality for this app in the second to last week before the end of the Bolt Hackathon. And so I'll see you in that video. So that was part 2 of my build for the Bolt Hackathon event. It's only very simple functionality at the moment, but the app is getting there. It has a clear use case. We validated it in part 1, and now I've got a solid social strategy to start building attention for this app as well. Hopefully some of that was useful. You see how you can kind of set up some basic AI automation in your own apps that you're building, and also use social to get attention for your product as well, and build a really, really simple waitlist that just connects through to a spreadsheet using make.com or NAN. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like and subscribe, and as usual you can get all of my startup and app building frameworks by signing up to my newsletter over at buildgreatproducts.com. Thank you for watching, and see you next time.
Build great products. Build great products.